Hey, I just want to share a quick idea I had for some shelving. I bought a shipping container and I want to line the walls of it with some shelving, and I didn't want to put a whole bunch of money in it. And if you've priced any, it gets really expensive really quick. And I figure about $85 a section in this. It's 2 foot wide by 8 foot, and then I made some shelving kind of like this before, but I made it 4 by 8, and I felt like 4 foot was too deep, and you end up with stuff in the back that you can't reach. And I was debating on 16 inches because I could get 3 shelves out of a sheet of plywood, but I was afraid 16 would be a little narrow, so I'm going 2 feet on this, and I feel like it was probably the right move. But basically, I just used 5/8 OSB and 2x4s. And depending on how heavy you want your shelving to be, like the other shelving I made, I used 4x4s in the corners and ran on the insides. You could make these out of 2x6s on the sides, 2x6s there. I'm mostly gonna just have boxes on it. I'm not gonna have a ton of weight on it. I just have bulky light stuff that takes up a lot of space. So I'm not too concerned about absolute strength. I may make a couple out of 2x6s, I don't know yet. I think the 5/8 is plenty heavy for them other shelves I made. The 4x8 ones I used 3/4 on, and that was probably really overkill for it. But it's got about 14. I bought they're 3 something a piece studs, they're not quite 8 foot studs. They're pre-cut. It takes 12 for the sides and the posts, 6 of each, and then you need a couple donors for your end pieces. And then on the ends, I bought a Craig joint tool, a pocket thing, because it tends to, whenever you just run a screw in the end, it tends to split, and these give a pretty solid joint. And so I went ahead and sprung for the $20 tool there. I don't regret that either. I used 3-inch screws on the sides, and they go through just a little bit if you sink one a little deep, but good penetration there. I used I think 1 3/4 inches to hold this down, to hold the sheeting down, and just came in about 6 inches on each corner, 1 in the middle, and then 1 between this one and the middle. So you got 5 down each side, 2 on the ends. And I think it's gonna be plenty good. There's a lot of stuff you could do to strengthen it if you wanted to. You could screw another block to this right here to take some load off of that. You could run a board and fill this gap and fill that gap, and then double up the legs. It is a little bit wiggly, but it's not gonna matter. Like I said, I'm gonna have lightweight stuff on it, and you could add more shelves. I made this, it's 2 feet to the bottom shelf, and then 20-inch openings between the other 2 shelves, which is plenty for totes or cardboard boxes, whatever. And then the top's going to be open-ended. But I figure the bottom, I can take heavy stuff, like take a block or a transmission or something and slide under it. And then I got 3 good shelves of storage space for, light-ish stuff. I'm not too worried about it. I'm sure it could hold 100 pounds a shelf, 150 pounds a shelf, and still be fine. But I guess time will tell how it stands up. But like I said, about $85 is what I figure I've got in these, and it's a lot of square footage for the money. So like I said, you could change the spacing, you could make them narrow. I mean, you could put 6 shelves on this thing. It's going to fit inside my storage container with room to spare. But anyways, I just wanted to pass this along. I looked up a few ideas before I made these and didn't really see anything quite like this. You could do a lot better job and make it prettier, and sink these in, cut your plywood around it, and do whatever you want. I just wanted them together quick. I can make one of these in about an hour and a half. Rip 2 sheets of plywood or OSB, and said pocket mill all the long boards, screw them together, screw down the sheeting, lay it up on edge, screw down the 2x4s, stand it up and you're done. It's really pretty easy, and like I said, hopefully somebody can find some use for this.